Ladies and gentlemen, citizens of the universe, this is Roster Watch. My name is Alex Dunlap. I'm joined by Cody Carpentier. Cody, we are right now not sweating out quite like these players are and their agents, but we're sweating out final cuts to 53-man rosters. We're going to keep you updated with that as we go through the show here. But some stuff that's already come up, we've had to make updates to the Ultimate Draft cheat sheet at RosterWatch.com, which is available now. Updates went up last night to versions 5.0 of Superflex, 6.0 of PPR. What are you on? 4.2 or something?
5.0.
Okay, so 5.0 of standard and half point PPR. We also have an update right now that I'm testing to version 6.1 for PPR that just has to do with one little issue I was having in the area of like the Keon Coleman, Jaden Reed, and whether or not what I was going to do with Jaden Blue with the news that has come out. And we can just start with this. I know that this is not necessarily a cut conversation. I guess it is because Deuce Vaughn was waived for the Cowboys. And now we have Phil Maffa, the other rookie from Clemson, who came in after being banged up to end his season at Clemson last year and not looking anything like he was at the full height of his powers. Still, I guess, struggling. I'm not sure if it's the same injury or something new, but he is going to be out for the first 4 weeks of the season as he's placed on IR, meaning that with the Dallas Cowboys, you have Javonte Williams, you have Miles Sanders, who's looked like a complete shell of himself, even more so than Javonte Williams, and who has been banged up through most of camp, and Jaden Blue, who we thought last week, based on cockamamie internet docs, that was sure to have suffered a high ankle sprain, but thinking he'd be out 4 weeks, 5 weeks, something like. He's already back at practice, and they're saying it was a low ankle sprain. And so Jaden Blue comes squarely back into the picture. I was trying to make sure on the PPR sheet that we were kind of staying ahead of this and ahead of where the ADP was going to go. Cody, where are you on Jaden Blue? What have you done with updates to the latest version of the standard and half point PPR sheet?
So I'd made an update. I think it was 4.2 or I think it was maybe 4.2 or 4.3 where I think it was 4.2. He came down a little bit and I had him like more around like the Nick Chubb, Trey Benson, B-Rob, Dylan Sampson conversation. And I very quickly made the pivot back in 5.0 and now in 5.1, bumping him up again. Back up more towards like the Krosky Merritt conversation where I think, I'm just on the fringe on the Krosky Merritt stuff right now, as far as where he's going off the board. Blue, I've got back into the top 100 though. And I think that's good. I think I have him at running back 38 overall, which has kind of just been where he's been at, right on that 36 to 40 area overall. Just behind Javonte, just behind Krosky Merritt, just behind Charbonnet and Dobbins. That's kind of where I have Jaden Blue. Cross positionally, he's side by side with Cooper Kupp.
With Cooper Kupp. What running back, what did you say?
38.
Okay, I'm at running back 37. So you and I, it looks like we're right there in the same area.
Braylon Allen, do you have him ahead of Braylon Allen?
No, I have Braylon Allen one spot ahead of Jaden Blue. Do you think that's okay? I mean,
I think
the ADPs are vastly different. I mean, we're looking at on Sleeper, Jaden Blue is going 127 right now. Braylon Allen is going okay, so Braylon Allen's going 142 on Sleeper, but on Yahoo, Braylon Allen, his ADP is 111 on Yahoo, whereas we're in the 140s on Yahoo with 165 on Yahoo with Jaden Blue. But if you look at the real-time ADPs over the course of the last 24 hours, you have Braylon Allen, his true ADP is 105.1 over the last 24 hours. And with Jaden Blue, who you don't take any effect, I don't think in the last 24 hours enough will have changed because of the film office stuff. And now just today with the news of Deuce Vaughn, I don't think that I think he's going to bump up another round or two, but he's at like 144 or something. So I have to have Braylon Allen ahead of Jaden Blue. I feel like you can get them both. I was getting into these situations where I was like, man, like I just found myself sometimes in spots where the sheet maybe went a little bit wide receiver heavy to start, and I started out 4 wide receivers, 2 running backs, something like this, right? I would get down into into the range where Jaden Blue was like right there, and there would be guys like Keon Coleman and Jaden Reed who the sheet wanted me to take ahead of him, and and I know those ADPs, if you just look at them, it's going to, Keon Coleman right now, he's got a true 24-hour ADP, just an average aggregate of like 128. So that's clearly way ahead of where Blue's going right now, but we have to get ahead of it. Jaden Reed right now, let's see, what is his Reed? 114. So, and I don't feel good clicking on Jaden Reed right now at wide receiver 46 in this area. I really think that this Jaden Reed, Michael Pittman type of area, I think that we need to have it built in to where at least one of these sort of upside running backs that's going a little bit farther behind them as far as ADP, especially in PPR, an Austin Eckler, a Jaden Blue, this type of player. But I have to get them both behind Braylon Allen in order for the sheet not to break.
Yeah.
Let's just go over some of the news that has gone down, and you could tell me whether or not it means anything. Just starting out with the running backs, we have Jeff Wilson released by the 49ers. Does it matter to you?
Nope, because I think Durando is going to be fine, and they obviously traded for B-Rob.
Deuce Vaughn. I mean, we just talked about why that matters. Damian Martinez did not make the Seahawks, 7th round pick.
Yeah, that's a shocker, to be honest. I thought he was a good prospect. I think it says more about George Holani, who outrushed Ashton Genty his Genty's freshman year there at Boise State. So that's a feather in his cap. Not that Genty was fully prepared to be Genty that day or that year, but I think it says more about this backfield. I think this is a 3-man backfield of Ken Walker, Charbonnet, and Holani. And it just makes me love Charbonnet a little bit more because I'm not sure Holani's going to really dig into that role if Ken Walker does go down as much as I thought Martinez might have.
Pierre Strong was released by the Browns. Does that tell you anything about where they might be with Quinshon Judkins, which is the ultimate question of our lifetime right now?
Yeah, that's the ultimate thing. No, maybe because so Jerome Ford and Dylan Sampson are really the only two on the roster. Speaking of Dylan Sampson, dynasty conversation, I just traded Dylan Sampson in a 12-team PPR in dynasty for 2 2027 second-round picks.
You did. Congratulations to you.
He was trying to he's like, man, we got to do 1 2028 second, maybe a 2026 third. I said, no, got to be 2 seconds in 2027. And he did it. So it hurt because I like Dylan Sampson. We both love him. And I think there's a role for him there. I think he's better than Jerome Ford, by midway point of the season. But I do think at this point, like the other guys that were even in conversation on this roster, Armani Marshall and Travion Williams, not really dependable pieces, right, in this offense. So I think that tells us the Quinshon thing's probably going to come to fruition. It might just be, what might be the interesting combo here is if you do get like a Nick Chubb in like the 10th round, is if you get like Judkins and then you take Chubb a round or two later and you have Chubb play for 3 weeks.
Right.
And then by the time he fizzles out, you got a little Quinshon Judkins juice in like week 4.
Yeah. I mean, if it happens, if Judkins doesn't go back to college like Florio's trying to,
I don't think. Come on, man, that's not gonna.
It's the same thing that the same thing floating around at SEC Media Days. I was telling Trashman about that yesterday with the whole Shamar Stewart. We were talking with Billy Lucci about it. He's like, he's not coming back to college. Like, what are you talking about? These guys.
All these guys work out at college. Like, it doesn't matter. Like that's what that one. This one that we haven't heard him like working out at school. Like
these guys go and they work out at their schools is what they do. They're not strapping on the helmets and going and playing thud with these guys during practice. Are you kidding? And the other one I just found interesting, Blake Watson and Audric Estime. I think that was last night we got the news, but both those guys are being waived by the Broncos. Probably we weren't expecting we hadn't projected in those guys to do any sort of cutting into what we're expecting from J.K. Dobbins and from R.J. Harvey.
No, the name that we got was Tyler Beatty being the one that is kind of the pass pro guy, and then obviously Jaleel McLaughlin's kind of a better pass catcher. It sounds like McLaughlin's going to make the 53, and I would assume Tyler Beatty's going to make it based on all of the buzz that he's received from that staff. So that's 4 backs on this roster, which it's a little bit. It's a little bit if they all have their distinct roles, and we haven't heard the most positive stuff from RJ Harvey and pass protection.
The word just came in that Xavier Restrepo was waived by the Titans. A little bit surprising. Cam Ward's ultimate safety blanket from his time at Miami, but you got to figure that. Oh, I mean, he's got to clear waivers to surely they want him on the practice squad. Do you think he'll clear waivers? Do you think somebody will pick up Strap?
I mean, I doubt it. I really have doubts. I hope he makes it back to the practice squad. He'll be like the quintessential mid-year, call like late week call up, and then all of a sudden, he has like a 5 for 87 game.
Robert Woods released by the Steelers. I don't think it means much. I'm pretty sure that he's kind of out to pasture by now.
No, there was a Bo Marciani had a write-up about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. He covers the Steelers, and he was like, the Robert Woods thing's just not working. The Steelers seem to like Ben Skoranek a little bit more, and that was when I was like, oh, okay. Because, I mean, he has been dealing with like a lower leg injury, Robert Woods has as well, but it seems like Skoranek is much more their speed this year.
So what about this one? Tyquan Thornton makes the Chiefs' final roster.
That was an interesting one. So it was one of those ones that like week 1 of the preseason, I forgot he was on the Chiefs. And then he had a big splash play. And then I saw some stuff in the preseason, and there's been like a slow buzz about him. And like, you also kind of forget that Juju Smith-Schuster's still in Kansas City, which is also super odd.
Right.
So it looks like it's going to be Tyquan, Juju, Worthy, Rice, Royals, and Hollywood Brown.
What about Nico Remigio?
He will be the 7th, assuming he makes it. And I assume he will probably with the Rice stuff. But those are your guys. I think Tyquan's very interesting because he's a speed guy, and he showed he had a connection in this preseason. So is he ahead of Royals right now? I would say he probably is.
Okay.
But I don't know what that means for us in fantasy football, because it's like, who do we want in fantasy? You want Worthy, you want Rice, and you want Kelsey. So yeah. I don't think Thornton. No, I don't even think he's worth even a thought.
I kind of want Hollywood.
Yeah. Sure.
I do. I like what dude. If
I don't think that's bad.
Misses 6-8 games, like I think Hollywood can poke up for a big game even if all those guys are healthy.
You want Hollywood? I mean, for me, I guess you're probably not as much into the A-Manor thing as I am.
No, I'm not into Alec Iamaner. I don't think that I'm not sure that I don't think that you can be in on Calvin Ridley and in on Alec Iamaner.
You don't think Cam Ward's enough of an elevator?
Man, I want to believe he is. I think that I love his personality. I think he's a dog and all this stuff, but I can only go on the camp intelligence that we've had. And from what Byron said while he was there, he just said he doesn't think there's going to be enough volume to support anything more than like a Ridley being the alpha. I think it's real hard, man, to get, I think it's hard.
So that when there has to be somebody else that gets moved though, like even last year with Daniels, it was like obviously McLaurin had his 13 touchdown stuff, 1,000 yards.
I don't put Cam Ward in the same.
But I know, but what I'm saying is from an output perspective, and like Daniels threw for 3,500 yards, 25 touchdowns, 9 picks. That's very attainable for a Cam Ward. I'm not talking about the rushing perspective of things for Jaden Daniels, where I'm not saying Cam Ward can do that and rush for 891 yards and 6 touchdowns. But I'm saying from a passing perspective, I think Cam Ward could throw for 3,500 yards, 25 touchdowns, 9 picks. And if he does that and he throws the ball 500 times, Daniels threw it 480 times last year. You look at the receiving core and the output, it was McLaurin who obviously got 117 targets, 1,000 yards, 13 touchdowns. We've seen Calvin Ridley 3 times on 3 different teams the last 4 years, Atlanta, Tennessee, and Jacksonville, had the 1,000 yards, had the 120, 30, 40 targets. But who's the second guy? Is it going to be – do we think Chig is a 90-target guy? Do we think Chig is an 80-target guy? I'm not sure I believe that. I think Gunnar Helm is going to work his way into Chig's output, even though Chig has got all the first team reps. They're only keeping 3 tight ends. Like last year, you look at like the depth, and the problem in Washington was they didn't have a true 2 at wide receiver. So it was like Olamide, 64 targets, Noah Brown, 56 targets, Diami, 40 targets. Like that's a lot. And then on
What
top,
numbers
on
were
the
you
side of
using for
Stackers is
Jaden Daniels
91.
last year as far as his passing?
Say it again.
What did you say about Jaden Daniels' passing numbers last year?
3,500 yards, 25 touchdowns, 9 picks on 480 attempts.
But that was just regular season.
Correct.
And because that's all we'll be considering. That's all we'll be considering for Cam Ward, of course. I don't think.
Oh yeah, I'm not. I mean, no, I'm not talking about playoffs. No. I'm not talking about rushing either. I'm just talking about from a passing perspective, getting the football to your receiver. Past McLaurin last year, they don't have a guy like Chig, unless you think Chig is going to be a 90 target, like an Ertz type. Even past that, if you think Chig is Ertz and you think that Kelvin Ridley is Terry McLaurin, past that, what I'm saying is Zacchaeus, Noah Brown, and Diami Brown combined last year for almost 160 targets in that offense. And now you look at Tennessee, and what that receiving core brings you is a banged up Tyler Lockett, Van Jefferson, who had a splash in week 3 of the preseason, and Ellick. And I think Ellick's the best of those 3 guys.
Well, I mean, if we just look at the sports betting markets, it's like they have Cam Ward at like 31.99 and 18.5 as far as touchdowns. So it's, we know that generally those season long markets are just a smash to take. As far as the passing yards, they're a smash to take the under. So I don't think it's even going to be a Jaden Daniels from a passing perspective. I don't. And I think that they got young guys there that I think that I think the Gunnar Helm is going to be a guy that might have like a 9% target share. I'm sure Tyler Lockett's going to pop off and do, pop in every now and then. I wasn't, I mean, I liked Imanner's film and stuff. I don't love the landing spot, despite the fact that he's looked good. To me, I just feel like in that offense now with Tyjae Spears, looking like he's going to miss the first 4 games, it makes me a little more interested in Pollard, I guess. Cam Ward, was my QB3 or my desperation QB2 in Superflex, and then Calvin Ridley, man. I'm not taking Alec Ironmanner over Hollywood Brown in season long redraft leagues.
The only reason I even bring it up is because I think Ironmanner's the 2 in Tennessee and Hollywood's like the 4th option. And just
depends on what it just depends. So much of this depends on Rashee Rice, though. People are just getting back to taking Rashee Rice and saying, like, I'm just going to take him. I'm going to take the risk. He could appeal this thing. It's like, but they were acting like they were going to try and make it 10 games. He's like, oh, no. And so whether or not, now he's saying, I'm not going to let it be 10 games, whatever. I get it. Maybe it'll move on until next year. And everybody who's taking him in the 5th, 6th round and stuff like that is going to, they're going to they're going to get away from this thing like the cat that ate the canary, dude. Like if they're going to be happy as can be about it. But I still just think that there's a lot of risk there. And I think that the arbitrage to be had is like 13th round Hollywood Brown.
I think that's a good price given who Hollywood is. Just for context purposes, what was the Cam Ward number for passing? You said
it was. I think I saw it. Was it? I don't have our season long projections pulled up, but as far as like the sports betting markets that I can pull up easily without having to get into the whole database here.
Yeah.
It would be 31.99.
Okay. So what if I told you July last year, July 20th, Jaden Daniels passing number was 3,075.
Yeah, I mean that's probably a good enough point. So one of the rare times, like we would have both, but in that case, I would have said take the over, because Jaden Daniels is a total G, and we're gonna have him in all our leagues the same way that we did. Like I don't feel that same way about Cam Ward,
and I think that's fair because we're at that camp, we're at the Tennessee camp this year, and it's different vibes obviously coming out of each one.
Yeah. Speaking of Jaden Daniels, anything else you wanted to get off your chest before I wanted to run, at least we could run a Superflex mock, but I also want to run a simulation using 6.1 of PPR just to see if I got this Jaden Blue stuff right, or if it might screw things up to make it go too running back heavy with him and Braylon right next to each other. And like we say, we run these tests here on the show. We're trying to be as transparent as we can, that we want you guys to dominate your fantasy football drafts. And because we know that when you get a pro membership at RosterWatch, like these are the teams you're going to be coming to us to say, like, all right, well, what do we do with these teams now? Who do we start? Who do we drop? Who do we pick up? We want to make sure that we start from a giant position of strength. And that's why we're going to be leveraging ADP at every turn. That's why these cheat sheets, they have to be structurally correct, because we need good, well-balanced rosters. That's why we're testing them all the time. And there's only so many hours in the day. And I figure if I can just be here with Cody, and Cody and I are in the same room, I can get a little feedback on what he thinks about how it's going. So anything else before I run a couple sims that you want to get off?
Yes, 2 questions. One is going to be a 3-parter, three-person answer, 3-person question.
A 3-part question.
3-part answer.
Do I need to break out a pen and pencil for this, or
no? These are all cuts or injuries. So Marshawn Lloyd is sounding like it's going to go to the IR.
He might, dude. I mean,
I hate to say we project injuries or not, but the Darren McFadden corollary represents. Marshawn Lloyd might be headed to IR. Tyjae Spears, speaking of, might be he is headed to the IR.
Yeah. And
Carson Steele is cut from the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
So with Spears and IR, it elevates Khalil Mullins.
I thought that Isaiah Pacheco was getting sent to the IR when he ran into that. Did you see him run into the padded side of the stadium the other day? Running out of bounds. God, good guy, such a maniacal runner, dude. I'm like, this guy just broke his neck.
Well, I hope he doesn't do that. So Spears goes to IR. That elevates Khalil Mullins. Carson Steele's cut. Your goal line work has to stay Kareem Hunt. Marshawn Lloyd is IR. That elevates Emmanuel Wilson. Any of these guys get into the Roshan, Kendre Miller conversation on the sheet. Emmanuel Wilson, Khalil Mullins. Again, these are number 2s on their roster. Khalil Mullins, Kareem Hunt, or Emmanuel Wilson.
No.
They're number 2s.
No. Yeah.
On good offenses.
Yeah.
Not good offense. I mean, Tennessee's not a good offense, but Kansas City and Green Bay are good offenses.
Yeah. I mean, when I think of those guys, I certainly think of number 2. Anything else?
Emmanuel Wilson has some flash and some sizzle, and he's behind a running back in Josh Jacobs, who had 1,600 yards last year.
Hold on. Emmanuel Wilson has flash and sizzle?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why do you do that?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not interested in like before I take Emmanuel Wilson, I'm going to be like, I understand. I mean, I can understand what he's saying. He's a number 2, but it's like there are guys I would rather have who, like, I mean, there are just a million guys I would rather have a million guys than one of them. Out of all the guys you mentioned, maybe Kareem Hunt, maybe. But I mean, I'm about as interested in Emmanuel Wilson as I am about, like, truly about as interested in him as I am about constantly hurt Marshawn Lloyd. Like, I don't want either of those guys. I don't. Like, I would honestly, I've probably more, there's like guys that I'm not even interested in that I'm more interested in than him. Like, I'm probably more interested in like Chris Rodriguez or Bashal Tootin or stuff.
Oh, well, that's easy. That's not, I mean, those guys are in a different tier.
What about Rico Dowdle?
I think there's a pass catching role for Rico Dowdle, but I don't think there's true, like, if Hubbard gets hurt, I don't think that it's Dowdle's job. I think.
What about Taj Brooks? Isn't he kind of a number 2?
Speaking of guys, we haven't heard a damn thing about. It feels like.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
I do like Taj Brooks.
Yeah.
But like Miles Sanders, Emmanuel Wilson.
Neither.
You are something else, you know.
I'm just saying neither. Well, like, you don't. Those are guys you don't have to pick. Like, if you get to that part of the
handcuff,
draft,
dude. That's
okay. They handcuff like Jarquez. Get Jarquez Hunter or something.
For what? He's got a split backfield. He's got a split role. If Tyron goes down, it's a split role.
And yeah, oh gosh, and so Josh Jacobs goes down, and Emmanuel Wilson's going to 28 touches a game. I mean, come on, are
You
we
know,
like we're not, what are we talking here? Nobody cares. We're all right. So for the 16 team league guy out there with an 8 bench
that's a
spot,
real thing. Emmanuel Wilson had 500 yards last year and 4 touchdowns. He wasn't a complete donk.
I would rather have Brashard Smith for Kansas City
See, I like that. I'll take
than
that.
Emmanuel Wilson.
I'll take that.
So there are a bunch of guys like that. Like, do you consider Woody Marks as somebody that's completely out of the team? Like, I'd rather have Woody Marks.
Woody Marks is like, I have Woody Marks rather high.
I would rather have Will Shipley.
Yep. That's why I'm asking you though. It's like Will Shipley, DJ Giddens, Keaton Mitchell, Ray Davis. Then I get to a tier after that where it's like, all right, is this where I put Kareem Hunt? Is this where I put?
Hold on, you have Roschon down in the tier like that?
No. Well, I mean, yeah, Roschon's Will. For me, it's Brashard Smith, Kendre Miller, Roschon, Will Shipley.
Yeah. So
DJ
you and I have fundamentally different thoughts about where Roschon Johnson should be. I have Roschon Johnson one spot behind Ollie Gordon.
Gosh.
Well, and why not? You're the one talking about number twos, how important they are, and like Roschon could be a 1B.
Yeah, could in one hand, would in another.
Okay, well, it's all right. Do you want to make an Emmanuel Wilson, Roschon Johnson bet?
All I'm saying is that what Roschon Johnson has done in 2 seasons, as far as rushing,
make me a bet on Roschon Johnson versus any of those views that you just laid out there.
Roschon Johnson in 2 years has 502 rushing yards and 8 rushing touchdowns. Emmanuel Wilson in 1 year last year had 502 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Okay.
We'll just call a spade, call it straight up. Nothing for nothing.
Right, let's call it straight up. Let's call it straight up. And let's put a beef rib on it. You write it down on the thing. Fantasy points at the end of the season. It could be half PPR or PPR. Roschon Johnson, fantasy points per game versus Emmanuel Wilson.
Straight up. Is
it per game or just on the whole season?
On the full season.
Straight up. Beef rib bet.
Yep.
Okay. I mean, I can already taste the beef rib, Cody.
Take lock sucks, man.
Take lock?
Roschon take lock, brother.
It is not Roschon. Roschon take lock for me would be to say that he's going to outscore like Jaden Blue or something like that. It's not take lock for me to say he's going to outscore a complete handcuff scrub like Emmanuel Wilson.
You have Jaden Blue at running back 37.
Yeah.
You have Roschon at what, 41?
Something close to that. Yeah.
So
I have Roschon as a running back 4.
That's the same conversation.
Well, it's not. I have Roschon at running back 44.
59.
Okay. So yeah, there's like 15 different scrubs between Roschon and Emmanuel Wilson. I don't have Emmanuel Wilson on the cheat sheet.
I don't either, but that's why I asked.
Okay. Speaking of the cheat sheet, let's run a simulation here.
Why I asked. You don't want to talk about more dust than Amari Cooper, do you?
No. Well, I guess we can. What does it mean? Does it mean anything for Dante Thornton that the Raiders signed Amari Cooper?
So it was a 1 year, $3 million with incentives up to 6. I think that's exactly what it is. I talked about it on the Top 10 Thoughts show a week and a half ago about my lack in belief in Jack Besh. I think he's much more in like a Josh Palmer underwhelming role early on. And Thornton's got some flash, but he's not defined as a route runner. I think that's what this tells us, is that they don't trust either of these guys in an expanded role. And I don't know how you can trust Cooper in that because he hasn't really been a separator the last 3 years, but that's what it seems like. So I think, I've been hands off on Besh, and I haven't really had Thornton in anywhere near striking distance unless you're in a 20 round league. But I think you just kind of stay away from both and just keep on hammering the Brock Bowers Genty stuff.
Yeah. I kept thinking to myself, man, this whole time I was like, Is Dante Thornton coming from a weird Tennessee offense where a lot of these guys have had trouble translating at the next level? And he actually was a little bit of an underperformer there based on just his size, speed profile, and everything like that. And all of a sudden, he gets to the NFL and he's a starting X wide receiver for the Raiders with no competition. And I'm just like, is this really how this thing's going to run out? I'm like, if it is, good for him. I'm in on it. He's got the requisite athleticism, but I think that this goes to show it's like they're a little bit worried with that. There's also the stuff with Jacoby Myers, going up and requesting a trade right here on the eve of the season starting. All right, let me share the screen. I think this was a Superflex one that I dialed up. Let's do a Superflex one. This is from version 5.0 of Superflex. And I'm not going to need to update this one because I wasn't running into the same issue I was running into on the PPR sheet. So this is one I've tested, and I've gone through all the testing, and it's running well. And so I'm confident in how this one will go. I'm not going to be as confident with PPR because it could still have kinks as I'm still at the beginning of the testing phase. But this is at the – do I get the 101 here? Yep. All right. Well, lucky me. 101, take Josh Allen. At the 2-3 turn, it wants me to take Ashton Jeanty and Nico Collins. So it's not going to give me a good grade because they never give good grades to Jeanty teams. Okay, we'll take 412. We'll take Alvin Kamara, and then we have a choice between Travion Henderson and Jackson Smith and Jigba. I know it wants me to take in Jigba. I don't care. I'm taking Travion. Okay, 612, 701. Maybe I shouldn't have taken. I should have taken JSN. Well, we're going to take Worthy, and we're going to take David Montgomery. We just do what the cheat sheet says here. I know that this goes wide receivers. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to take 812 and 901. We'll take Olave and Jerry Jeudy. And then at the 10-11, we'll take Matthew Golden. Then do I take Tua here? I have a choice between Cooper Kupp and Tua Tagovailoa.
Yeah, I think you take Tua.
It's super flex, right?
Yeah.
So we'll take Tua. Okay, we don't have a choice. We take David Njoku as our tight end, and then we'll take Christian Kirk here.
Wait, you don't want Gino? What about? Wait, that's our fifth receiver, huh?
I could take Gino, but I kind of want to take I kind of want to. I have 5 wide receivers. What do you think?
I don't know. I'm very much.
Gino always falls, dude.
Okay, let's go Kirk.
And if he doesn't fall, I think I can get Darnold. Right? Let's just
shoot
it. There we go. Yeah. So Christian Kirk and then Gino falls. So here's that team. The quarterback is Josh Allen. The Superflex are Tua and Geno Smith. The running backs are Ashton Jeanty, Alvin Kamara, Travion Henderson, David Montgomery. The wide receivers are Nico Collins, Xavier Worthy, Chris Olave, Jerry Jeudy, Matthew Golden, Christian Kirk, tight end David Njoku. I think I'll get a good grade on this. Auto drafted kicker and a defense. Let's see here. 97 out of 100.
Oh, baby.
Yep. All I did was follow the 3 simple rules at the top of the sheet of paper. I did make a couple risky picks there, but it turned out to be all right. I think that grade might have been even better if I would have gone with JSN. All right, ultimate draft cheat sheet. Let's do one. Okay, now let's do the one that's going to be the scary one where I'm going to really kind of pucker up here for PPR early test on version 6.1. This is only I'm just on iteration number 2 of version 6.1, and we are picking here from what is this? The 5. Yeah, it went Saquon 101, Chase 102, Bijan 103, Gibbs 104, 105 would take Justin Jefferson. Oh yeah, okay. AJ Brown at the 208. We don't have a choice. Yeah. 305, Tyreek Hill. So a wide receiver heavy start here. I'm going to hope that the cheat sheet pulls me through with some running backs. That's
will. A trash man type team right there.
Yeah, we're going to get Travion at the 408. I like the looks of this so far. And then we'll get RJ Harvey. I'm sorry, 408. Then we'll get RJ Harvey at the 505. At the 608, it says to take Calvin Ridley. So we have so far a 2 running back, 4 wide receiver build. 705, it wants us to take Tyrone Tracy Jr. So we're filling out some running back depth here. At the 808, we'll take Stephon Diggs. We don't have a choice. At the 905, Ja'Cory Crosky-Merritt. Here we go. 1008. Jaden. See what I did, Cody? I had to get him into this spot. But we're going to take Jaden Blue at the 1008. Now we have a choice between Christian Kirk and Kyler Murray. We'll take Kyler Murray. We have a choice now between Ollie Gordon and Marvin Mims.
Wow, you got Mims in that. Interesting.
And Tyler Warren.
You like Mims? He's gonna be a 2, isn't he?
I kind of like him after. Yeah, I kind of like him after the Devon Vele stuff. Don't you?
That's fair.
Who would you take here? We have.
I take OG.
Even though he's got the far latest ADP of all of them.
I suppose you picking 6 picks.
I have 3 more picks left. Might be able to get all 3 of these guys if you play your cards right.
Yeah, you go Mims first.
Tyler Warren's ADP is like 88.
Oh, for some reason I thought that said 118, not 116. Yeah, take Warren then. Yeah, you need a tight end. So take Warren.
Take Tyler Warren. Then we'll take Ollie Gordon at the 1305. And then with our final one, we could take you want to take a backup quarterback or maybe take Kyle Pitts as backup tight end?
Yeah, I like the 2 tight end set.
Okay, so we'll go with Kyle Pitts, backup tight end. So here's this team, PPR version 6.1. Again, 3 simple rules that I followed to a T. The quarterback is Kyler Murray. The running backs are Travion Henderson, RJ Harvey, Tyrone Tracy, Ja'Cory Crosky-Merritt, Jaden Blue, and Ollie Gordon. The wide receivers are Justin Jefferson, A.J. Brown, Tyreek Hill, Calvin Ridley, and Stephon Diggs. And then 2 tight ends, Tyler Warren and Kyle Pitts. 2 first-round tight ends from different seasons. I think this will give me a B or something, Cody, because it always swindles me on the PPR drafts. We'll see. I'll auto-draft a kicker and a defense. 92. I'll take it. All right. So that's what you get when you use the Ultimate Draft cheat sheets at RosterWatch.com. Again, you can go to RosterWatch.com right now. Whenever you do, you not only get access to the cheat sheets, but also starting on Monday, less than a week from now, I'm going to have the content schedule for in-season content where you get the private videos, you get the player prop cheat sheet, you get snap counts, touches, targets, matchup tool, waiver wire cheat sheet. You get the sit start thread with us where we answer all of your questions. You get the DFS cheat sheets, the hyper DFS lineup generator, all that stuff, man. It's $9.99. So go to rosterwatch.com, check it out. But of course, Cody, do you have something to say before we get out?
I was just going to say it would be fitting if we had an argument about backup running backs. If I just asked you one simple thing, if you're going to put one of these 2 guys on your cheat sheet, you can only put one on there now. Hunter Renfro's released by the Panthers, but Efton Chisholm makes the Patriots 53-man roster.
If I got to put one of those guys on there?
Yeah, you only get one now, and you have to – I mean, it was a bad question the way I phrased it, but it's not really a question. It's Efton Chisholm.
I'm putting the guys who's actually on a 53-man roster, and who actually looks like he's got a little bit of jitterbug to him. I'm putting on Efton Chisholm.
This is Anthony Richardson. You're listening to Roster Watch.
This is AJ Brown, and you're listening to Roster Watch.
This is Josh Allen, and you're listening to Roster Watch.